Hi everybody, very welcome to yet another live stream here on the Mentour Pilot channel. As always, I hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Today guys, I have a real treat from you. So I am continuing on the kind of format that I started with a few live streams ago, where I invite different people into my live stream. And today we have Michelle from DutchPilotGirl who's going to be with us. We are just going to play this just like any other live stream, guys. So I'm going to be asking her some questions. I'm sure that you guys have some questions that you want to ask her as well. And as always, when it comes to these live streams, guys, there's already almost, I can't even see this, 400 people here now. It's 500 people here and it's increasing all the time. So this means that, it's going to be really hard to get in the normal questions. So if you have something that you really want to ask Michelle or me, then use the super chat question. That means that you will be giving some support to the channel, but also it means that it highlights the question to me so I can ask it. All right. But first of all, I am going to ask some questions, and there's going to be questions that comes in from, for example, Twitter that has been going in throughout the day. And also some of my patrons have had some questions that they really wanted to know. And we've been talking about that on our Discord server that's available for all my patrons. So without further ado, we're going to switch over to Michelle and see if we have her online. And I hope guys that you'll enjoy this as much as I definitely will. So Michelle, very welcome here.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Perfect. Thank you.
Good. First of all, where are you right now?
I am in Amsterdam, in the city center, and not flying, of course. So
yeah. So you're in the same situation as I am. How long was it since you did your last flight?
My last flight, I think 1 month ago, because just before everything stopped, I was able to fly like on everyday basis, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. But as soon as it stopped, yeah, everyone was on ground, of course.
You're just like me, kind of counting down the days until you reach 90 days, where it's going to start to become a real problem.
Yeah, but the company I'm working for have like a simulator sessions scheduled. So they just try to keep everybody updated, let's say, with the flight hours. So that includes the 90 days. So
yeah. That's the benefit of living close to a simulator center, because obviously my company has simulator centers in Italy and in the UK and in Ireland. But if you're based in Spain and Spain has locked down the borders, we're a little bit out of luck. So that's but at least you guys can keep yourself up. Then that's very good. So first of all, I want to thank you for being on the channel. It's a great pleasure to have you here. You have a huge following on Instagram and your YouTube channel as well.
Okay.
No. And it's really like, because we do kind of similar content where I do a lot of instructional videos about pretty much anything, and I know that you have done quite a lot about how it is, your journey to becoming a pilot. And I have said, and I keep saying, that it's so important for females out there to have a role model, to have someone in which footsteps they can follow, really. And I think that you're doing a really good job with that. So guys, if you're watching this right now and you haven't checked out Dutch Pilot Girl on YouTube, you really should go and do that after we've done with this.
Well, thank you so much for the compliments.
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome. One question: How did you come up with the idea of starting on social media? I know that's a question that I get a lot.
Well, I started a very long time ago. I think I started just a little bit after you started, without knowing from each other. Just because YouTube was starting up a little bit and I heard of it, but like social media wasn't really a thing back then. It was just out there, but nobody really knew what it was going to be. And it was especially not what it is right now, because now it's like advertising platforms and all that. And back then it was just like making videos, having fun and whatever, you don't look further, like creating a brand or like an audience. We're never really the goal,
No, I know. I remember when I started this, I was pretty much sitting in front of my iMac and just talking about my experiences. There was no editing, there was no cutting, there was no check on audio. It was really poor, like it's really
bad. Yeah.
But I've seen like
in that stage longer than you.
Oh, well, I mean, I've been looking through your catalog a little bit before this interview, and I see exactly the same kind of journey where you started off, and it was all pretty much like off the cuff doing stuff in front of the camera. And now you have some really slick backgrounds and stuff, which I still actually need to fix myself. But it's really cool to see how your channel has been kind of going from that early stage until where it is now, which is really cool.
Yeah, you have to keep up with everyone, you know, because everybody is improving. And if you don't improve, you just remain at your own stage, which is like centuries ago, and that's not good. So
but that's kind of what's fun. It's the same as being a pilot. Like you constantly need to improve. You need to keep working on your skills, because if you don't, you are going to stagnate, and you're going to get worse. You're not going to even stay the same. You're going to get exactly. So tell me a little bit. When did you start flying?
Okay, so I started flying 2 years after I graduated, which was in 2016. Yeah, that's when I started, when I got hired for Ryanair, and I did a type rating there, and that's my first job basically. And before that, I had some simulator jobs, you know, in aviation, but not a real job.
All right, cool. Yeah. Do you remember the first time that we were in contact with each other?
Yes, I remember. I just wanted to ask you, because do you remember how much subscribers you had at the time?
When I started, like, I'm going to tell people when that happened. So those of you who have been following the kind of progression of my app, and by the way, Michelle has apps now as well. You would have seen the first 360 videos that I did. And the first 360 videos I did about a year after I started my channel. So I think I would have had around 10,000 subscribers or something like that. And
exactly.
Yeah. And that's
exactly that.
That's when we were in contact for the first time, because I was looking for a female first officer to help me out with the 360 videos. And for me, it was really important that it was a female first officer, because already then I wanted to show that, you know, this is not just a man's job. This is both a man and a female job. So I wanted to find someone to work together with, and I was given your contact by, I think it was, I can't remember who it was now actually. He'll probably contact me after this and tell me. but he said that you should check with Michelle. Like, she's the girl to do these videos together with. But then we couldn't get it to work. I mean, I think you were in Amsterdam still then?
Yeah, exactly. I was working at the simulator center like every day.
Yeah.
And it was impossible to meet up last minute or anywhere. Yeah.
And anyone who's been working with me knows that I'm all about last minute. Like it's literally
like today.
Yeah. Well, you know, so it ended up being Holly, which actually worked at the simulator center that I was shooting the videos at VA Airline Training. So, but which worked out fine. But you were my first choice. You were the one that I contacted first to see if you wanted to be part of it, and that's how we got in contact very first time.
Exactly, because I remember I saw your videos like a long time ago, and I was like, hey, this guy's doing the same as I'm trying to do, and you were always ahead of me, like always, you know. And
you see,
still,
this is still an issue because
yeah, it is. No.
Yeah, no, but it is still an issue when it comes to, because there's only so many things that you really can do videos about when it comes to aviation.
Yeah.
All of us have our own little angles to it. I mean, you and I have different experiences. I will come at it from a line trainer perspective, from a captain line trainer perspective. You very often come from a trainee perspective. But the issue still is that if I create a video about whatever, it might be water salutes, for example, and you make a video about water salutes, people will think that it's the same type of video. And I had this problem with Captain Joe a couple of years back, exactly about water salutes actually, where I had to retract my video because we released the same video on the same day without knowing it.
Yes, exactly. I heard it. And for me, it's not a problem because I see Captain Joe, you know, and I'm like, okay, find a subject that is not covered yet by everyone, basically, you know. And then it's like, it's very hard, but yeah.
It's impossible. I literally made a video, which I haven't released yet, which is going to come out soon. And when I was checking up for titles of it, I found a video that you'd done. So like we're exactly the same when it comes to
that. At least you can find me now. Between all the
Let's see. We have some super chat questions that I want to take in here. We have from Gadgetman36 is asking to Michelle, what type of planes are you qualified on?
737. Yeah.
Have you
and then the range.
Have you flown the whole, like, which models of the 737 have you flown?
400 and 800.
Cool.
Yeah, so the classic and the 800.
Yeah.
And sorry?
Which one do you prefer from the classic and the NG?
Well, the NG is like easygoing, everything works.
Yeah.
And with 400 is like not easygoing and nothing works. So you're with the courage every day because everything breaks. And it's a different plane. And now I don't think it flies anymore, or maybe it does, but you need a GPS, and those airlines are not even fitted with GPS. So can you imagine how old they are?
Well, yeah, well, they still fly. We still have the Jurassics out there. I think we have a few 200s. But you should have talked to Mike McBrien that was on Sunday, who's flying aircraft that are 80 years old. So
oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Bring your own car, everything.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to ask you about, one of your videos that have the most views is your videos from your first solo. Do you mind telling us a little bit about what the feeling was, when you did that first solo? I'm going to show the people in the background here as you're flying your first solo a little bit. But how did how many hours approximately did you have when they released you for this one?
Well, there, I did an integrated course. So basically you jump from one plane to another, and that was the Diamond 40. Yeah. And it was like the first solo I had to do on a Diamond 40 because you had like this single engine piston rating, or I don't know what, I don't remember, but it had to be done like 5 touch and goes and in nighttime. Yeah. Nighttime, so that means sunset, So I was like, before sunset, I was already ready to go, and I just put my GoPro there and I forgot about it. But how many hours I had, especially, I have no idea. But I was at the beginning of my flight training career, so I think after 5 months or something. Yeah, because you look so cool in this video, as in so like relaxed. And I remember myself when I did my first solo, I wasn't afraid, but I remember that my heart was beating like 150 a minute. But that video is not my first ever solo, because the first solo I did was on the Piper Archer, the PA-28, and this one was the first solo on the Diamond 40. Okay. So yeah, I look cool because I tried to pretend to, but my real first solo, I was sweating as well. Like I was really nervous. Nothing compared to this. I would never have filmed that because. No, because I'm watching it right now as well as the other people are, and you look like cool as a cucumber. I thought when I saw this, and I thought it was your first ever solo, I thought like, dude, that's some ice. No, like. That's not the first solo ever, yeah. Because there I felt really comfortable, I liked the plane. It was really nice with the Garmin 1000, but no, the first solo ever was definitely not like this. No, the first, everyone remembers their first solo. I got mine by surprise. I was flying on the Cessna 172, and I did an extra session with a teacher that everyone knew loved flying in the morning. That was his thing. So I got up before, because I went to a government-sponsored program, which meant that I did my schooling together, like my upper secondary school, together with flight training. So I went there like at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we had a morning session before I went to school. And it was this beautiful, crisp, clear morning in like early May, I think. No, it couldn't be. It must have been in September, actually, because it was in the beginning. Anyway, and we just did a few circuits, and then he just said that we needed to taxi in, and I thought, okay, we need to refuel a little bit, which we did frequently, since it's a Cessna 172. And he just got out, and like, I remember him, he just looked at me and it's like, okay, so now just take a few circuits by yourself, and I'll wait down here. And I remember that. It's like you get a heart attack, but it's the best feeling. It's like when you sit there by yourself and you look over and you see that there's no one else there, it's crazy. Yes, exactly. That moment, like, really? Am I just sitting alone in a plane right now? Yeah. Like yesterday, you felt like you couldn't fly, and now today you're going so like.
I know, and it's really like that. Is he actually allowing me to do this? Like, am I
Yeah.
allowed? No, it's the coolest thing.
Am I going takeoff right now? Oh my god. Yeah.
So let's see. I'm going to take in some questions here that I got. Let's see if I can actually find them as well. That's a different question here. So when it comes to your flight training, what did you find? You said you did an integrated training. So what did you find was the hardest bit of your training?
The hardest bit, well, not really hard, like, but the less, yeah, I would say, okay, the theory, like, it's not really hard, but it's a lot. So,
Yeah.
and that, yeah, many subjects at the same time, that makes it hard by itself. But yeah, also the less fun part, I would say.
Yeah, I know. No, I always say the same thing, that like trying to do 14 theoretical exams or preparing for 14 theoretical exams as well as doing your flight training is hard work, and it's something that people kind of have to be prepared for when they go into this training.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, you have no life. Yeah.
It means that you have Leon. Actually, that's one of the things that I tell people, that not only prepare yourself, but prepare your family and your friends, because they are not going to see you.
Yeah.
Like, they will, when you do this training and you're in there for 18 months or 24 months or whatever it takes, they might not hear from you or see you in months because there's just no time for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. I have a question. Let's see if I can get that up on screen actually here. I think this is... so this is a question about, if I can see it right, how are the so you've recently changed company, if I've understood correctly, and this is your third company that you're working in? Okay, so how did you deal with changing the standard operating procedures between the different operators? Did you find that hard?
Actually, it was not really hard at all, because I started with Ryanair, which gave me a very good base of the SOPs. Actually, like, they have the most SOPs in the world. So if you join any other airline, it will be less probably. So yeah, then I joined Albastar, and they had, they had just the Boeing procedures, but not all the extras that Ryanair does. And then Transavia is exactly the same as Albastar, basically, just Boeing. And of course, they have their own calls, but I mean, it's very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth pointing out, because there's a lot of shit being thrown at all different companies, but Ryanair gets a lot of blast. But when it comes to robust SOPs, they are among the most robust that you'll find in the airline industry, and there's a good reason for that, because they obviously, you fly with people that have 200 hours coming straight out of an integrated program, and you have someone on the left that might have 20,000 hours. And all of these people with different backgrounds, different languages, different experience level has to be able to work together. And the more experienced you are, like you, for example, now are an experienced first officer, if you move over and into an airline that takes on experienced first officers, the need for SOPs are not as dramatic, because you can rely on your experience, which a 200-hour cadet just cannot do.
No, they have no clue, I would say, but I also didn't have a clue, when I was in that position. So I was really happy to be able to hold on to something, and
and hold on to something. That's exactly what I use as well, because that's if you start getting lost. Let's say that the aircraft, there's a lot of things going on. You're coming into a busy TMA, for example, or whatever. Then the SOPs are really the thing that you hold on to. Like you know what your next call is going to be, and that's what you have. So that's why they have such stringent SOPs, as opposed to other airlines would have more experienced pilots flying for them.
Yeah.
But that's good to know, because I think that if I were to move company, given that I've stayed with the same company for 18 years, I think I would struggle with the SOP changes. Like, it would be hard for me to get.
Yeah, I hear that now. I hear it in my company as well. Some people say, "Hey, you still have some procedures from your previous company?" I said, "Yeah." Can't do anything about it.
No, like, you try. I guess you try, but sometimes, especially when the stress level goes up, you will revert to whatever is in your backbone, and that's just how it works. So if you get to choose one commercial aircraft, if you were to choose any, previous or existing, which aircraft would you like to fly?
Just one?
Just one. You only get one.
Okay, just one. Really, I'm not the. I would choose it for the destinations because the plane itself, yeah, of course I'd like to fly it, but I would not like to do an autoland, which comes with the long haul, obviously, if you fly over, or not specifically with the long haul, but then you have to share landings, and I don't really like that. So, yeah.
You're still gonna have to choose one though. I'm not gonna let you off the hook.
I'll choose the A380.
The A380.
Because I'd like to try the A380, because why not? A completely other aircraft than I'm flying right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just do it for the experience and see how different it is, and that because it's completely different. That's it.
Very cool. I have the greatest respect for that. Let's see. Now take some.
What would you choose then?
Yeah, if I had a choice, on any aircraft throughout the history, I would love to fly. Obviously, the Concorde would be on my first list because you want to fly that once, and that would be the awesome. If I were to choose something to fly right now, I would probably want to fly the 747 before it disappears, because it's the most beautiful aircraft design that I know out there from in that size. The 380, I don't find it a beautiful aircraft. I find it a fantastic, technologically advanced aircraft. But and then, I don't know, of course, the 787 and the Airbus 350, which is like the next generation of aircraft. Yeah. But I think that we'll probably end up in one of those or similar anyway at some point going forward. So I'm not in a rush for that. Let's see, just piling up with super chat questions here. We'll take a few. So what are some things that you all think that simulators don't properly prepare people from? That's an interesting one.
Okay, so what simulators don't prepare?
Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, so if you do training in the simulator and you come out and you fly an aircraft online, is there anything that you felt that the simulator didn't prepare you for? Not really.
Maybe the operation in general, because a simulator is great for flying and procedures and all that, but like the customer experience or the that stuff with the passengers, that's just not really there in the simulator. I mean, you pretend to be like that or pretend to have a problem with the passenger, but it's always a little bit standard, right? Yeah. And in real life, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on, and that's not in the simulator. But for the rest, I cannot say anything now.
No, that's a brilliant answer, because that's the way that simulators are constructed. They're made to be as close to reality as possible in order for them for us to do training all the way up to landing training. But obviously, there's no time to actually do what you do out online, the turnaround management, the handling of like you come into. I see this a lot when I do cadet training. You come in and you do things like, okay, I take the tech log, I check the technical status of the aircraft, I go in, I put the battery on, the electrical oil pumps on, and you see them. You see them do all of this, and you realize that you're never going to be able to do that in real life, but.
Especially with your turnarounds, it's impossible.
No. And that will come, but that's why we have such long such long line training as well. Because it does, you need to get into the habit of reality. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So here's one thing for you. Gadgetman36 is saying, is Dutch Pilot Girl on Patreon? I'd like to support. Do you have a Patreon page?
I had a Patreon like a long time ago, but I think I removed it or it's offline. I don't know. I don't even know my in-log thing. So
okay, then it wasn't very active.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, so people want to support you, just so you know.
Yeah, but it's another platform. I have to,
Yeah, but it's a good platform. I don't know how I literally my Patreons are taking care of half of the production that I do. Right now, for example, since I'm on unpaid leave from my airline, my Patreon crew are the ones that are supporting the channel and the work that I do. Like they stand for a lot of the income for the channel. And I am so grateful that I have Patreon, because I think it's a great platform. And all of you guys, shout out to you who are out there. You know that you are my patrons, and I do appreciate what you do.
So,
So let's see. Lucas is saying, how do you rock your wings without actually making the aircraft yaw? Like rocking wings when intercepted by fighters, for example. Do you turn off the yaw damper? Have you ever rocked a 737 in real life?
like
Wing
I flew the
tipping?
737-400,
Yeah.
and the yaw damper was enough like many times. So, you know, I didn't do it on purpose, but if the yaw damper is enough, obviously you have like a little bit unstable,
Yeah.
aircraft. But I mean, yeah, not like crazy, of course not,
No, but
Also not in an empty plane, by the way,
no. But the right answer to that is if you are going to try to do it and keep on course, then yes, I guess actually you would have to do it without yaw damper, because the yaw damper will not understand if you want to try to rock the wings. It will think that you're trying to turn left and right all
Yeah.
the time. So fortunately, I've never had to do that. And you have the backup plan of actually just, flicking your nav lights if you want to, instead of rocking the wings. So I think that's probably what most people will go for.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Balai Sharat Kumar is saying, awesome Dutch pilot girl. I love your videos with Captain Joe too. And that's, I get to hear that a lot. Like people
You should collaborate with him,
Yeah.
Yeah, you ask already 10,000 times with him, and I will app him like, "Hey, go!"
Well,
But yeah,
that brings me to one of the
funny,
questions. That brings me to one of the questions that I had actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the most irritating question that you get a lot on social media?
If Captain Joe and I are a couple, that one, yes, I hear it all the time or something like that, But I mean, if you work together with a guy, people say it all the time, that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
I'm really a little bit used to it, and I just read through it. But it's definitely, yeah.
That's probably one of the things that you run up against, especially in this line of work, since it is so male dominated. And I see as well, I don't know what your statistics is, but when I look at the statistics of people that's following me, I have 95% male and 5% female everywhere. I don't know, how does it look on your platforms?
Well, it's not good for the people I work with, but no, I have 80% men and 20% women on all platforms.
Really?
Yes.
Even on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube the same.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so many men. I don't know. Yeah, it's everywhere.
No, but I mean, what? Because I struggle to reach the female viewers, and there's so much things that I want to tell them that, I mean, we know right now, for example, we're working with this new product, the Airline Pilot Club. Obviously we're a little bit on hold now until this whole Corona crisis blows over, but we were told by the likes of Boeing, Airbus, CAE, the big training centers, that we need to find people. Like, there's going to be an issue from 2022 to 2026 where we will not find enough pilots to fly our aircraft unless we can reach the female part of the population. That's easy as that, because there is a lot of male. There's a lot of people who want to become pilots, but not everyone can become pilots. And we want to be able to enter, the talent pool on both genders. And this is where you guys, especially you, if you reach 20% female, it means that you reach 15% more than I do. That message needs to come out, that the girls should be going for this if this is something that they think that they will like.
Because the Airline Pilot Club is something to help people get a job, right? Or get a career or something.
Well, now it's 3 stages. We wanted to work on 3 different problems, which was 1, to find people. This is what I'm talking about now. Find people, and this is people who might be, really talented pilots out there, but would never have thought about becoming a pilot because they didn't think that they could afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was one thing, trying to find the girls and the boys out there that would I think I could be a good pilot, and they could be great pilots, but they thought, no, I don't have rich parents or something. So that was why we started by going out to try to get the banks out there in all different countries over the globe to give unsecured loans for people who who couldn't put up a house as collateral, for example.
Exactly.
So that was step 2, which was to try to find funding. Now, I've always been saying, and we keep saying, that we still want people to, try not to take mortgages, try not to borrow as much money as possible, because, it just gives you so much more flexibility if you don't. But if if it's available there, at least it's something that gives the possibility to someone who can then go for training. But we wanted to find the right schools as well. So, you know, there are bad schools out there that does not have the economy needed or whatever,
or anything.
So we wanted to be able to guide people towards the good schools. There wouldn't be necessarily the cheapest ones, but the ones that we knew had good instructors, safe aircraft, good maintenance, good training throughout. And then at the end also talk to airlines that would guarantee members of the club at least an interview at the end. So it would be kind of like a 3-stage rocket to go by. But this is why we started out. When we wanted to get access to the female pool as well. And I think actually I had a question on Twitter. I'm going to see if I can put that up. This is on Twitter. So technology is a male-dominated career, and I've been trying to push more females to join. But there are many challenges. I'd like to see what Dutch Pilot Girl can say to other women who see male-dominated careers as a barrier, and how to overcome that barrier. In 3 quick words.
Okay. Well, first of all, like if, of course, as a girl or woman, you're thinking about having children at a young age, then this career is just not for you, you know. Unless you're able to get a job immediately and deal with it at the same time. No idea, but that's how it should go then. But you know, the market has been so crazy all the time that most of the time people have to move to another country, you know, to get hours or do something. And it's also a fun experience. But if you have another path for yourself, which is creating a family, then both at the same time is not really doable. You know, and that maybe stops some women in going for this career. But anything else, I have no clue why you would not do it, you know. So
no, that's the thing. And actually this is also another side that we're trying to push for, which is for airlines to realize that if we want to access the female talent pool, we need to come up with things like how to solve maternity leave in a good way. Maybe giving access to training roles where someone who wants to be home with their kids for the first few years can actually fit that into a regular schedule. So it's something that the airlines have to work with, really, and I think they are. I know EasyJet has been doing a lot of work when it comes to this. I know most airlines are looking into it, but you're absolutely right. That has been one of the big problems. But what would you say? Let's say that we have a couple of girls sitting out there now. They're 10 years old or they're 12 years old or whatever, and they think that they would want to be a pilot. What would you say? Because you've obviously achieved it.
Okay, if they already know that they want to become a pilot at 10 years old, that's pretty young. But which is great for them. What I would say to them, just finish school first of all. Like create or choose a couple of subjects which are gonna give you something in the future. So I'm not gonna say that history is a bad subject, but I would choose like math, physics, you know, those kind of subjects. And because then later on, if you still want to become a pilot after all those years, and of course, like being 10 years old, you cannot really imagine what a pilot, you know, and life of a pilot is changing every day, you know. So, and with every economic crisis, it changes. So you cannot really plan that much ahead. But I would just say finish school, choose as wide as possible, you know, your career opportunities, let's say, and then what else? Just visit schools, you know, visit all kinds of schools and see if you really want to do this. Because like now, or like we had 10 years ago, in a time where it's not that good, are you still willing to go through this? Like, is it worth it for you? And if the answer is yes, then do it. But otherwise, choose something else, you know.
Great pep talk. No, but it's true. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. Like that is absolutely true. But I also want to really emphasize that you, like most people that have that dedication, that know what they want from an early age and actually go into this with their eyes open, they can do this. like
Yeah.
you are going to be needed at some point. Now it's a very bad moment in our careers. It's probably the worst crisis that we've seen in our generation, and probably in our parents' generation as well. But it will pass. It will, because people are resilient. At least I have full confidence in that.
Yeah, exactly. Matter of time.
Yeah. Let's see. More super chat questions here from Gary Burke. I started integrated training yesterday remotely at AFTA. The instructors told me that training during tough times is a bonus when looking for a job. What's your opinion? I mean,
during tough times is a bonus. Okay.
I mean, it's hard to say that it's a good thing.
I understand that it is something good for your personal growth, that you're able to go through this and that you know what it's like to not be given everything. I think that's good for your personality and that you personally grow from that. Yes. But good regarding getting a job when everything is quiet. Yeah. I mean, if people are not hiring, they're not hiring, you know. So
I guess what we've been telling people, and what I believe myself, is that it's a very different role or a very different situation to be in if you're just starting your training, as opposed to if you're just finishing your training. Because if you're finishing your training right now, there's going to be some very tough years ahead.
Yeah.
But if you're starting your training, it means that you have about two and a half years ahead of you. And a crisis like this, no matter how deep it is, rarely takes longer than that, unless we're looking at like the depression type crisis. So even though you might be like, if you're starting your training when the business is at the bottom, then hopefully it means that as you finish it, it is going to be on the climb. And that's probably what they're referring to. And that's what we're all hoping at last.
Yeah, that's exactly what I experienced, because I started my flight training in 2011. Yeah. And it was not like 2008, of course, it started, but 2011, everything was
still dead.
Done. Nothing, nobody hired. And there were classes before me, classes after me. And I also did CAE. So everybody was just waiting. But then within 2 years, I was offered a job. So 2 years is still doable, you know. It's not like 5 or 6 years, because that's even worse.
Yeah,
absolutely. But okay, you know, in the meantime, you can do other jobs, and it makes you realize how important this is for you, you know.
Yeah, good. So we have one here that's talking about simulators that we've already been answering. That was not really a question. So hi, both of you. I hope you're both well. This is from Josh Green. If you could fly anywhere right now, where would you go? DPG, what have you been doing during the lockdown? So that's 2 questions in one, but we'll take it one each. Where I would like to go right now, anywhere outside of my house is going to suffice for me, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, I would love to travel somewhere after this, to be perfectly honest. Take my whole family and go maybe to Thailand or the Caribbean or something like that would be great. How about you, Michelle?
Thailand is really cool. Yeah, you should definitely do that. That's really fun. Have you been there before or not?
Oh yeah. Thailand is one of my favorite destinations to go to.
Yeah, it's really nice. Exactly. So where I would go, or the other question?
Where would you go?
Where I would go. Well, I don't have a lockdown, so it's not that I cannot go outside. You know, I can. So, but yeah, I would just honestly take any plane, anywhere, and enjoy the sun. You know, because we are here in the Netherlands. It seems nice, but it's super cold right now. So yeah, you guys have good weather, right, in Girona? So
yeah, we have better weather than it is in the Netherlands, that's for sure. Today hasn't been great, but it's been. I mean, you get to 20-25 degrees now as well, and it's getting warmer and warmer, so it's all good. And since you're not in lockdown, I'll take the second part of the question. What I've been doing, I've been producing videos like crazy. I've been. I mean, just trying to get together a live stream like this takes a bit of planning and graphics and stuff like that, and of course getting a hold of Michelle. She's a busy woman, and you know it takes. I actually am so happy that I have my YouTube channel right now, because if I didn't have something to work with, I think I would go crazy. honestly, I'll be climbing the walls
Are your
around you.
kids and your wife that bad, or?
No, no. But she would be clawing my eyes out as well if I would be sitting there staring at her. Like literally, if you live on top of each other and none of you is working, and you have the kids as well, I like, we have a garden, which is also good, and I have a house, which means that I can walk around the house just to have some movement outside. But I'm thinking about all of the people that are sitting with maybe 2-3 kids in an apartment somewhere here in Spain and cannot go outside, and it would be hard, very, very hard. So I've been working, basically. That's what I've been doing, and enjoying the good weather when it's there. So student pilot Bartram is asking here, Dutch pilot girl turned down a 4th stripe to stay a first officer. Would she ever go captain?
Who is that? Who knows? Who
student pilot Bartram is called.
Okay. No, it's not that I turned down or anything, but I was coming close to my hours to become a captain, and in my previous company, they look at the seniority, and I was one of the guys, I would want to say, but one of the persons who could do the upgrade very soon.
Yeah.
And now I joined a company which has a seniority list like 100 years. So yes, like it takes ages from now, and I don't even know, but because of course the market changes every time, so you cannot really tell, but 10 years, something like that, crazy. I know, I don't want to think about it, it's just that's how it is.
But you wouldn't turn down a command if they offered it to you, would you?
What? Would you at my current company?
Yeah.
No way, of course not. That's crazy.
No,
I would just sit right there.
No, but there are, like, I have a friend of mine who started together with me on the same type rating course, who's still in the company now 18 years later, still a first officer, and he has been,
8 years.
So he's been turning down command continuously for 15 years. And the reason simply being that, he would not want to change base. And of course, one of the things that you have to accept if you go for a command in a large company is that you will then be put somewhere where they need a captain, unless you have a strong union that prevents that, for example.
Yes.
And he had kids, and he was a divorced dad, so he couldn't do it. So he's just been turning it down. And these things, they happen, and we do have, on top of that, you have people who want to go for command, but just cannot go through the training as well. So you will find career first officers out there, but it's up to anyone if what they want to do, really.
And they keep them in the company, so you can just be first officer forever, basically.
Yeah, you join. Most companies will not hire you as a first officer. They will hire you as a potential captain. That's the way that it tends to work. And they want you to progress throughout your career. But obviously, if you've been employed on a normal contract, no one can force you to take an upgrade.
No, exactly.
So he's just hanging around.
I understand that if you have a family and you bought a house, I mean, you cannot just go to Africa or I don't know where. No. So then you have to balance. But I mean, every pilot, I think, or most, I guess, want to become a pilot at some or a captain at some point. So it's not easy, I would say. But
no, because it actually, like, moving over to the left seat is a better job. It is a much more, like, you will definitely feel the weight of those 4 stripes. There's no question about that. But the fact is that when you're sitting in the left, you can set the day as you want it. You're the one who's deciding whether or not it's going to be a good day or a bad day, basically, instead of being at the whim of someone who's your boss who might be in a bad mood and you have to adapt to them. So from that perspective, only from that perspective, it is great to get your command, because you can be that, like, that's one thing that I tell everyone who's about to go for the command training. We've all flown with captains that we've really liked. I guess you have your favorite captains that you fly with as well. You get along with them really well. And I always tell them, you will never be able to be like they are, because they all have their own individual command style. But what you can always do is avoid being the asshole. Like all of the ones that you've flown with, the captains that were grumpy, that was nasty, that was disrespectful. These are the things that you can remember, and you can avoid being that. And if you do that, you will automatically become one of the good guys, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know how not to do it.
Exactly.
That's also important.
And then you can be an awesome captain in your own way. But you should never try to emulate someone else's command style, because we're all different in the way that we behave.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's one of my many very wise things that I tell people that are about to go for command. So here's one for you. Which do you think is the most beautiful approach? Have you flown any really beautiful approaches?
Well, I only have flown like within Europe. I don't fly long haul, so it's not that I can choose from all over the world, let's say. But one of the most exciting approaches, I would say, Samos. I really enjoyed that. And all these different approaches, you know, not like standard ILS and that's it. All the others are cool, basically. Also the visuals, the Greek islands, for me, they are perfect, you know. And you always get a visual in Greece, so I cleared. So it's got a lot of fun, and you know, it's like flying. Well, I cannot say it maybe, but like a Cessna, you know, and there are people behind, but you're just doing your job, and you know, it's really fun. Yeah. That's freedom. I really like that. And with those Greek islands, you have that more than in a London Stansted or where they keep you at the speeds and the heights. I mean, you know, I enjoyed that. That's freedom, let's say, and anywhere I can get it, it's. Yeah.
You sound like you should. You're really a bush pilot at heart, aren't you? You would really enjoy flying up in Canada, like with your own little.
Well, I like fast, so I don't like flying the smaller airplanes. I like it, but I mean, I would not really rent a plane on a daily basis, for example, to do touch and goes or whatever.
No.
Like, it would be fun, but not very often. Yeah, I don't know, like. If you have a time to think by yourself and to do whatever you want a little bit, let's say, yeah, I enjoy those things. Yeah.
Cool. Private jets,
like the other side, right? That's like completely.
It's a different thing.
Maybe it's something for you.
well, you never know. You know, I never say never to anything here. So would Sandra McCusker is asking, hi Michelle, would you ever consider appearing at a career day event at schools to teach or to reach out to young girls?
At the events, the aviation events.
No, I think she's probably talking at career days, like schools, you know, where for young girl. Well,
yeah, why not? Mm-hmm.
I think.
I don't know what I have to add, but
no, you have loads to add. This is actually one of the things that we are thinking about pushing with the Airline Pilot Club as well, to try to find people to go out to schools like you to show, because what we've noticed is if you go out and you do like a if you go and ask school kids in the age, like I said, at 10, and you ask them what they would like to do, you will find very few girls who actually even think about becoming a pilot, because they don't have any role models.
Yeah.
So the guys, they will like the boys, they will say, yeah, I want to be a fireman, a police, a pilot, or whatever, and the girls will be saying something stereotypical on the other side.
Yeah.
While if they've actually had someone like you, a female first officer or captain who comes in and said that this is what I do, you know, here I fly my, I actually think I have an intro with you. And you would show something like that to them. They would likely react to it in a very, very positive way, and it could spawn a thought in their heads that didn't exist before.
Yeah, that's I think the main thing, that they know that they can also fly, you know.
No, I mean, that's the thing, because for you it's obvious because it's your everyday job.
Yeah, but exactly. I think it's very hard for me to think back now that there would be people, you know. But I remember I was in that same situation. I had no clue.
Yeah, but what changed? What changed your mind when you decided to become a pilot? Was there any specific event?
Well, basically there were a lot of events. But before, I never thought about it, right? I was not like the kind of person who went to the airports with a dad and that stuff. No, never. So, like in every school, every high school, I guess, you have to go to these universities and check whatever you want, right? So I did the same, and I just was not interested in any school. Like, I wanted to be interested, but I just didn't see myself walking there. I didn't see that career path in front of me. It was just not me. And I basically went to all kinds of schools to figure out what I wanted. And then my grandpa like said a long time ago, like, hey, did you ever think of becoming a pilot? You have exactly the right subjects. And I thought, no, never thought about it. But I will go. Don't worry. I will just go to like a lecture or like to an open day, as that goes. So I just found some stuff about it, and but not really my intention. Just go in openly, like I would go to the other open days. And then I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This is insane. Like, this is what I want to do. And how is it possible that I never thought about this before? So then I went to another school, and every time I got more excited. And at some point I thought, okay, this is it. And it's crazy that I never thought about it, that this was an opportunity for me or an option even. So, yeah.
So that's very rare, I think, that someone becomes an accidental pilot, basically.
Yeah.
Did your grandfather have any aviation experience, or?
No, he had a very technical background, and he gained his PPL when he was 74, so really old.
No.
And he was also always super interested in planes, but yeah, he was too old, of course, to do anything with it. But yeah, that's.
It's very cool. Like I didn't know that. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I had, let's see, another super chat question here from Jim Shuck. I had a female instructor when I did my solo. She gave me a jar of mayonnaise and said, "Read the label." And the label said, "Keep cool, don't freeze." It's a good.
Interesting. Okay.
it's an interesting technique, which I might steal. I should say. I should probably have a jar of mayonnaise with me.
Yeah.
Cool. James Golding. Hi both. What is the most difficult thing you have ever experienced whilst flying? Now you've flown the 400, so you probably have more technical issues than I have.
Well, I guess so. But you're flying for a longer time, so I don't know. But
anything that pops up?
Anything that issues?
Huh?
Which I can announce on YouTube. Okay.
No, that's the thing, and it's important to tell people that as well, that some technical issues that we encounter is subject to us filing reports, and then potentially subject to like authorities investigations and stuff like that, which means that we cannot just sit here and give details about certain technical events. Like that just doesn't happen. But you can give an overall, like, was there any situation that you felt that this doesn't feel nice without giving any details?
Well, I can, not really a specific one, but I remember that in the 400 you have a lot of hill items, right? Things which are like not really working.
Which are
yes, exactly. Or like say but then apparently they work and then not again, and okay. So, but yeah, some systems, they coincide with each other a little bit. So that means that if you have a pack failure and this and the other, and another failure, for example, you have certain limitations when it comes to flying that plane. But then if all of a sudden you're in the air and another thing fails, you have to realize, oh, I had this already. Now this comes along. Okay, what are now our limitations? And then there's no checklist for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to combine that stuff, and that happened quite often, let's say. So you had to really think about what's going on and what can I do now and what can you do not, let's say.
That's actually an excellent point that a lot of people don't think about, because I mean, we have our QRH.
You have it right there.
I have it right here, which you do, of course. That QRH always assumes that the aircraft is fully functional and that there's only one failure. So when you go in and you have a pack light, for example, then you go into the QRH, you find your pack light checklist, you do your pack light checklist, and it assumes that everything else works. But as Michelle is saying, if you have a HEAL item, a whole item list item, that shows that, okay, today we're going to fly with only single pack. Today, because one pack is faulty for whatever reason. Perfectly legal to do, but if you then have a failure on the secondary pack, the checklist will only tell you, all right, so you make sure that the other pack is working and off you go. That's fine. But of course, in this case, the other pack is not working, which means you're not pressurizing the aircraft, which means you're now very close to an emergency descent. So it becomes really, and this is why, and I really want to emphasize for anyone who's going out through a type rating here, you need to know your systems. And this is why you need to know your systems. Because if you don't,
is working always.
Yeah, if they don't work, And how is it going to affect you? And if you start getting into the electrical system, it starts being really interesting very quickly.
Yeah. And it happens, you know, it's not like when you go in a simulator, you know, everything's going to break, right? But in a real airplane, usually things are working, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, today we're going to have this. It's like really a surprise. So yeah, you get really to learn how to deal with those surprises, let's say.
Yeah. And
then figure it out. Yeah.
it's actually a great point. That's probably something that one of us should do a video about. Me, I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Good. Right. So let's see. Did either of you have any military time? Did you have any military flying time?
No way. No. You?
No, I'm not that kind. A lot of people ask me this. And I think, and I've always said that in order to go in for the military, you have a very different original mindset than if you want to go as a civilian pilot. And if I don't even tell people to look at going down the military path to become a civilian pilot, because you really want to be the military type if you're going down there. You want to serve your country, you want to fly fast jets maybe and stuff, but it's mostly military. Like the emphasis is not on flying, it's on military. And that's never been my cup of tea. So
it's different than just flying planes from their destination back and forth and in the military. Yeah,
it's a completely different thing. So by all means, if that's what you want to do, and you're also probably going to need to sign a contract for about 10 years in the military to do it, then by all means do that. But do not go down that road because you want to fly a 777. Like that's not the way to go.
Yeah.
So how many flight hours do you have? How many approximately do you have, Michelle?
3,000.
3,000. Great. I have about 11,000, I think. Something like that.
How long are you flying now?
18 years.
18 years. Oof.
So that
and you started in the same company, or did you work before somewhere else? Oh, wow.
But I have very little hours. I'm very proud of that because, like, generally speaking, if you've flown for 18, 19 years, it means that you have almost 17,000 hours. I have 11,000 hours. That's because I've been spending a lot of time in the simulator. So when that does not count towards your total time. So I have maybe 3,000-4,000 hours of simulator instruction time as well on top of that. But when you get over 10,000, what you really want to do is keep your hours down, not up, because they all translate into these wrinkles that I'm starting to get. And
you guys not that bad, but we women, we drastically go, you know. It's true.
Okay. Okay, it's not just pilots. For Nate Watson, simulators verification, validation, aircraft software designers said people are all mostly male. I've seen discrimination against female co-workers. How can we fight that issue in the aerospace industry? I mean, these are some major questions. I think it is a generational thing to a certain extent. The whole, gender biased and the especially the discrimination, because to be honest, in my age group, I don't see it. I have never seen any direct gender discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that if you come up to the generation before us, where there was basically no female pilots, you could probably see more, and that probably goes for other occupations as well. How do you? I mean, you're the female here. What do you think?
Regarding discrimination, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Obviously, we are being treated differently because or differently as in just because you're a woman, in a man's world by itself, not only negative or only positive. Like, it just makes a difference. It's the same with a girl's world where a guy enters, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
But I never had any bad situation with a passenger, or never any comment which hurted me or which whatever. Maybe people, when they look at me, they're like, "Oh no, better not comment that to that girl." But I don't know.
No,
I never.
Do you get anything on social media? That's interesting, because normally girls get much more hate on social media than boys for some reason.
Well, I the other day I read something funny, which was oh, she probably cannot park the plane, something like that, Or, and actually that's funny because in Ryanair and all those companies, they don't have a tiller on the right side. So true, I don't park the plane, the captain parks the plane. You're totally right, but that's not what they meant, of course.
No.
So, but now I do have the tiller, and I have to say that, I have to get used to it because it's new. But those kind of comments,
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever, they can be anybody.
But when you do, let's say you do an instructional video about whatever it might be, do you ever get any negative comments about, like, from a gender perspective, or do you mostly just get positive comments?
From a gender perspective, well, there are always some weird people,
Yeah.
but that's in every
that is true.
aspect. So, I mean, I don't really pay attention to that, honestly, or like add value to it. So probably I will have, for sure. If you would look at my videos, probably there will be some weird, weird answers. But
yeah, you can be sure of that. That's great. And I also think that you build up, like, you have hundreds of thousands of followers, both on Instagram and YouTube, so do I, and you build up a bit of resistance. You just skim through the ones,
That's true.
the nasty ones, because there will always be, like you say, there will always be some crazy person out there who, who attacks me because I'm, clearly not telling people that the earth is flat, which it obviously is, those kind of things. I guess we all get the same. Let's see.
Yeah, that's true. And you also get a little bit, like you say, resilience for it. I mean, in the beginning, you would really care, really be shocked, like, what is this person saying? No way, And then now, I don't even see it, That's why.
No,
it's even better that I cannot answer this question, but yeah.
Exactly. That's something you just have to build up, I think. Let's see. Victor Pisalski, thank you very much. Bishop 51807. I'm making use of my time in quarantine and taking an online ground school to get PPL in the US.
Yeah.
Does the EU have something similar where you can take that? And I can take that one. Yes, you can do online schooling for your ATPL exams, for your PPL exams, but there is a minimum amount of actual classroom training that you need to do. So there is schools like Bristol Ground School, for example, that have a lot of online courses that you can take, but they will also bring you in for the minimum amount of classroom training that you by law need to go through. So yes, it does exist. Andy Morse leads some ATPL theory motivation, please. All right.
Good luck.
Yeah. I've done it.
Yeah. No, once you finish that, I mean, then the fun part starts, So, and if you can get through it without any crazy stuff, then, I mean, you know that you're right for the job.
Yeah, true. Like the ATPL is hard work. You just need to you get it over with, and be sure, like you do. You need to understand the subjects that you go through. That's why you're reading the stuff. So don't fall into the trap of just doing mock exams or trying to learn the question banks. Because once you get out of the ATPL exam and your captain turns to you and asks you something that you should know, you really need to know it. So please do read the books and don't just do the question banks. Do both of them, because you will need to do both of them. But be sure that some of the most nasty stuff that you're learning, like the crazy mathematical things that you need to go through, you will never see again once you're out of your ground school. It's done.
Yeah.
Like, you won't get across it ever
just
again.
To pass it, like.
When did you last do like a point of no return calculation or?
Well, this morning I thought, you know what? I'm just so interested to do that. So I thought this morning I made a note.
Yeah. That's what.
I don't remember. I think probably.
Yeah, by your coffee, you sit there and it's like point of equal distance. What was the? Yeah. It's stuff that you. Like, if I was in a DC3,
in life,
Yeah, if I was in a DC3 over Iceland and the variation was -3 degrees, then.
You'll be ready for the mental hospital if you're going to.
Yeah, I'm sure we have colleagues that actually do that at home, so we probably shouldn't laugh about it.
And they ask you, they ask like, "Hey, did you do that?" Yeah.
Yeah, I was answering FCOM queries for a long time, and you do get some of those queries sometimes from actual pilots. Which makes you want to, you actually need to scratch your head quite a bit because.
But they've just been waiting for that, right? Yeah. They're taking their time the whole day to ask you a question which you don't know, because that's the goal, right? And then to see your face, that's the thing.
Well, it looks pretty much like this. Right.
Yeah, and if that's not clear, then okay.
Okay, let's go on to something that we actually do. So, to greetings from Chile. Have you ever landed at Corfu or Gibraltar?
No, Corfu, never.
Me neither.
And the other, no, also not.
No. Hi guys, do you think the current situation in the industry will bring back the hub and bespoke model? Pros and cons of spending a career in the same airline versus changing different employers? Well, I don't think that the hub model will come back because of this. I don't see what the reason for that would be. The hub model comes from the fact that there's too much flights, and this is only going to bring down the number of flights over a short period of time. So no, I don't think so. Pros and cons of spending a career in the same airline. Well, I mean, I've been in one airline. The pros, obviously, is that you become very comfortable with the standard operating procedures. You kind of rise in seniority and in pay as you do as well. But I haven't changed airline, so I can't really speak to the favors of that. So I'll leave that to you, Michelle.
In a time like this, yeah. Well, yesterday we had a discussion about this, like really short, remember? And it's exactly what you said. You cannot really know what's coming next. So if you were thinking about changing companies, then you just have to do it. But right now, there's no choice, because the market is so stuck right now. So yeah, you don't know what's coming, so you can hardly plan for it, right?
No.
But of course, if things are good, and
I mean, generally speaking, people only want to change airlines because they want to improve on something. So I guess you changed airline because you wanted to get closer to your family or friends.
Yeah, more free time, exactly.
Yeah. So this is what we do. Like we sit at home and we watch what are the possibilities here. Especially if you start to feel like you're not really where you want to be, then you start looking at what the different options are. And if you find an option, given the current circumstances you're in, well, then you go for it and you try to get in. Sometimes you fail. Even if you're like me, if I would try to go into Emirates, it's perfectly possible that I would fail the entrance exam and I might not be able to get in. Or I might get it, and then it's going to be a completely different situation. But you cannot sit and try to see all the possible outcomes. No one saw this coming. Like, no one. Yeah. You go back 4 months and you tell people, in April, there's not going to be a single flight flying in Europe with passengers. There's going to be like people locked in their houses. You're not allowed to go past borders. If you said that 4 months ago, you'd probably be locked in an insane asylum. Like, literally, it would not happen. And then it happened. Yeah. So you cannot plan for things like this. You have to plan. Just have to work with the cards that you have, really.
Yeah. Exactly.
Good. I'm not going to keep. I realize that we've been here for an hour now, Michelle. So I'm not going to keep you here very long.
Time goes so fast. Oh my god. 1 hour per minute. Oof.
Yeah. I know. It's time flies when you're having fun. I'm going to see if there's any questions that are directed straight to you, and then I can take the rest myself when I've let you go to your boyfriend there. So, what's the best view that you've seen from cockpit? Greetings from Chile. Any favorite views from the cockpit? Are you a morning or a evening person?
Well, once there was this blood moon or something. Do you remember? A while ago it was.
Yeah, the big moon.
Yeah, and I had a couple of pictures really bad because it was made with my iPhone. So
I know, I hate that. You're
totally
like, wow.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then you look at the phone. It's just what I'm looking at. Okay. So yeah. But that was really nice because I was flying to Egypt at the moment because and in a previous company I flew to Egypt many times, and that was exactly the right so that was really beautiful. But mornings of course. Yeah. As well. You have to get up super early, so that's the disadvantage.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah.
No, but I love that as well. I love seeing the sunrises, providing that I have a cup of coffee. Sunsets is beautiful, and flying in of the mountains, great. I think I saw a video on your channel actually when you were flying in. I think it was descending of the Alps, which was really beautiful. I can't remember which video that was, unfortunately.
Was it the water salute?
Yeah, of course. It was the water salute. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that, I mean, those things, you never get tired of these views, really.
No, exactly. Sometimes you look like, how can it be so beautiful? You know, the view, it looks like a painting.
Yeah.
Really, you wish that you could capture what you're actually seeing, but it's impossible in a picture.
Yeah, and then then you get your iPhone up, and you're like, I'm going to savor this, and then you look at it, and it's like
all bugs from the plane, from the window, and then
the moon is like a little tiny dot, and been there. So we have a guy here. Maybe this is time for your boyfriend to come into frame here, because we have someone asking for your relationship status.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in a relationship already for 4 years. Mickey. Hello.
Vicky, come and show yourself. It's important.
Mickey. Yeah, he's afraid now. Huh? Let's see, he's afraid. Kom even dan. Kom even.
They're not going to believe it unless they see him. So.
You know, he's scared. I can tell. Kom.
He just needs to be in the background and wave.
Mickey, kom even, joh. Really? Okay.
He's there anyway. He exists.
Als we letten naar je toe. Kom.
I think
Kom even.
It's very important to show him so they don't think it is Captain Joe.
They need.
There we go. There he is.
Well, I'm actually real. Yeah, and I'm not Captain Joe.
No.
Great. There we have it. That's going to be the highlight. Let's see how many people. There's 2,000 people who saw that now, so that will spread.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, many people say that. You know, they say when I was recording the videos at Captain Joe's house, you know, like they totally whatever, but he was just there, you know, so behind the camera, which is.
Yeah, but that, you know, you're always going.
They don't know. That's okay.
That's, you know.
And what about your wife? Can we see your wife in this live stream, or?
I might be able to get her in. She is not a big live streamer. She has been in here for one or two of them actually. It's one of my most requested guests, but I think that she actually is in the sofa on the other side of the house. So I think I'm going to skip.
Just show the camera, you know, like surprise her.
Yeah, she'll love that, especially if she's in her pajamas in the sofa. So, have you ever experienced some sort of discrimination? We've actually covered that.
Like probably some females will have, or some girls, but me, I never really. No.
And that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Wide World West is saying my smoothest landing as a passenger was with having 2 female pilots. Just saying, and yep, that's what we're kind of getting to. Would you fly the SR-71 if you had the chance?
The what?
The SR-71.
What is that?
Exactly. Moving on. It's no. It's the Blackbird. It's the fastest aircraft I think ever built.
I mean, yeah, why not? You know, and if I could be an astronaut, then as well, you know. So.
Lucy is asking, Michelle, would you ever consider long haul, or would the issues with relationships and family mean that you're happier during short haul? Is it better to start off on long haul and when you're younger?
Well, the thing is that I would love to do long haul, as in, I would love to have the experience, you know, which comes with that, which of course is different than flying short haul. But I am also a person which gets bored really quick. So if I have like 3 or 4 destinations, and I do that all the time for years and years, I mean, I'm not the type of person for that, and that's not really something for me. So I would like to try it, yes. And of course, if I ever get the opportunity or whatever, if there are going to be new planes in our company, then why not? You know, I don't say no to it, but there's a different life coming with that. And I like different type of destinations. I like the adventurous lifestyle, let's say. And I don't know if that's something which comes with that, but I don't know.
Like there's so many, that's the thing, you can't just say long haul, because it depends on the company, it depends on what the company is doing. I mean, there might be short to medium long haul companies as well that does like charter flights, where you go somewhere and you stay there for a couple of days and you actually get to see the thing. And then you have the ones that do like basically short haul, which is just minimum rest and then back again. So because
in my previous company we had layovers all the time. So I came from Ryanair, which no layover ever, and then I thought, oh yay, layover, super cool, which was really fun. But then 2.5 years layovers, you're all the time away and living out of your suitcase, and then Cape Verde or Keflavik or all these crazy places, they seem really nice. But if you've been there 10 times or 20 times, then it's the same, you know? And then you are away from home and there's no social life involved. At least that's what was the case for me.
Yeah.
And then you wonder, you know, like what is really important. And then you realize that those layovers are really nice. But yeah, I mean, you get used to everything. And that was also the case there.
That's what I keep telling people. I would love to have a layover now and then, every other month or whatever, just because it's fun to do something slightly different. But like you say, that's what I hear from my long haul friends as well. When they've flown, you know, when you see New York and Los Angeles or whatever on your roster, the first year is like, and then the next, after 2 years, it's like, it's
yeah.
I know the best cheese place to go and buy. I'm going to buy cheese for my wife. That, you know, these kind of things that comes along with it. But yeah. I guess so. So I'm going to let you go. It just, but don't worry, you guys who put super chats. I'm going to answer all of the super chats once I've let Michelle go from here. But they're saying here, happy to see you both. It made my day during lockdown, which is really nice to hear.
Well, for you.
Yeah, but I think that's the ones that were actually aimed at you, Michelle. So I just want to say a huge thank you for being on the channel. I hope that you enjoyed it.
Well, thank you for having me, and of course, I had a lot of fun.
Excellent. And yeah, we'll keep in touch. There's probably, well, in this line of business, there's always something new that we can come up and do something.
Exactly.
Something together. So best of luck with your channel. And like I told you guys, go over to check out Dutch Pilot Girl. I have a link in the description of the video here if you can't find it on YouTube yourself. Or check out her Instagram account, which is really, really good. So Michelle, thank you very much. And
thank you.
Take care of... Oh, but by the way, I had one question. They ask if your boyfriend is a pilot or not.
Yes.
He's a pilot.
Yeah.
There we go. Now,
okay then.
We'll finish that off with that. Thanks a lot, Michelle. I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Okay? Bye-bye. There we go. All right. I am still working around a little bit with this, with this. So basically that live countdown that you just saw, that was not supposed to be there. That's just me having figure trouble with my control screen here. Let's see. Actually, Michelle, you're still on here. I don't know if they can hear you. I'll call you later, okay? I'll send you a message. Bye. Cool. Let's see. I don't know. There we go. All right, guys. So that was cool. I'm hoping to do a lot more of these collaborations with other YouTubers. As always, I would love to hear your kind of suggestion. Is there someone that you would like to see me interviewing? Is there someone that you would like to have on the channel? It doesn't have to be a pilot. It could be an air traffic controller. It could be an aircraft mechanic. It could be pretty much anyone. And if I don't know them, actually the reason that I managed to get Michelle on here was because one of you guys contacted me on Instagram saying that you had talked to Michelle on Instagram and wanted her to come on. And that's how I found out about the fact that she was even interested to be here. So please continue doing that. Like, I love doing these kind of things, and I know that you guys want to hear these kind of things as well. So just keep pushing, just keep telling me what you would like to see more of, and I will try to do my best to answer to that. But before we go here, I want to go back through the super chat questions here to make sure that I have answered everything. We have done the most beautiful approaches. Mentor, if you could pick your favorite plane, like I said, that's going to be the beautiful Concorde, of course. I think we've covered most of them here. Hi guys, do you think the current situation in the industry will be back? No, we talked about that as well. How would you both like to fly a Learjet at 41,000 feet? But I mean, I think that she already answered that question. She likes flying fast aircraft and doing things that are interesting and really gets her adrenaline going. So I would speak for her when I say that she will probably love flying a Learjet, and I would as well. But the problem with flying Learjets is that that's normally connected to working, flying as basically a private chauffeur at someone who can afford to own a Learjet. I would prefer to be the one that owns the Learjet and flies it if it was up to me, because I wouldn't. I mean, I have a lot of friends that work for private jet companies, and well, my friends actually, they have kind of a good roster where they are flying for 1 month and then they're home for 1 month. But there are also quite a lot of jobs in that sector where you can fly out, stay for 2 weeks, 3 weeks in one place. You only do one flight in a month and then you fly back home again. And you're kind of at like, you never know where you're going to be or at how long you're going to be somewhere. And that's not something that I would like to do. So unless I own my own Learjet, then I don't really see myself doing that. But then again, you never know. In this current crisis that we're facing, I might well be sitting in a Learjet or in a Cessna 172 within too long. You never know. So, Mr. Master 2K, I asked some of your questions there about her relationship status. I'm also, she's asking, are you sharing the super chat tips with Michelle? I am not, because it's just a hassle to do. What I will be doing though, and which we already talked about, is I'm going to appear on her live stream whenever she wants to do it on her YouTube channel and also on Instagram. So we kind of trade that way. It's easier than trying to divide super chat tips in between each other. So Fred Hill is asking, in the US, pilots can do both fly military and commercial. Cool. You probably can that here as well, but it's not very common. Normally you are either a civilian pilot or a military pilot here in Europe, because you tend to be contracted by the military to do a certain amount of years as a military pilot, and then you need to convert your licenses from military to civilian in order to fly civilian airliners. So I would say probably unheard of. There is a possibility that you might maybe be in like the backup course, that you're still in the military, then maybe do some flights per year in order to keep yourself current in case you would be needed. But I don't know enough about all the countries out there in order to answer that question. Good. Okay, Captain Tammy Jo Schultz reaction and her 737 landing. I don't think I've seen that from John Ellis. You might have to send me a link to that, but I mean, yeah, so without having seen it, I can't really do any commenting on it. Hi, Mentor. I'm trying to become an aircraft mechanic. Any tips from the pilot perspective? By the way, keep up the good work. Know that they're very, very different types of work, right? So I can't give you any tips other than the general tips that I give to all of my pilot students out there, and that is that you're going to have to work hard. Becoming a mechanic or becoming an engineer is a lot of work and it's a lot of responsibility. We definitely put our lives in your hands. So we would really, really, really appreciate it if you spend a lot of time studying and make sure that you know exactly what you're doing when you start working on the aircraft, because an airline cannot work without good pilots, without good mechanics, without good engineers, cabin crew, dispatchers. Everyone of us are part of the team, and without one cog, the whole machine breaks down. And you guys are definitely part of that cog. So make sure that you stay, that you keep concentrating during school if you haven't started already. And once you're in your training, remember that we will be counting on you the day that you have to fix our aircraft. So I think it's a good job. I haven't met an engineer who hasn't enjoyed his job, or a mechanic that hasn't enjoyed his job yet. So I think that you're down the right path. If that's something you want to do, great. We will need you, definitely. So I can answer if I would fly the SR-71 if I had a chance. I would love if there was ever a two-seater. I think there is actually. I don't know actually. You will probably tell me about this soon, but yeah, I would love to go on one of those. Unfortunately, I don't think that there is any flying ones left. So Hi, how the flight school checks my marks from high school? That's from Khrushchev Dulce. Do they check my marks on every year or just mark from the GCSE exams? Where can I precisely practice physics? Greeting from Prague. Yeah, so I don't know exactly what they do. I think that they look at your GCSE exams, as in, if you go in, this is normally very, very well explained in the websites of the flight schools. So if you go to, for example, CAE Oxford and have a look on their website, they will tell you there what they need, and they will say like you need 5 GCSEs, for example. I don't know if they mention the grade. I've never had to show my grades for entering flight school at any point, but that was again 20 years ago. So just go to the websites and then check on the entry part, because there's going to be a part that shows this is what you need in order to start your training. And that will tell you exactly what it is that you need. Now, when it comes to your, practicing physics, I am sponsored by brilliant.org. You should check them out if you want to just brush up on general physics, kind of the way that you think, the way that you problem solve. Brilliant is really, really good at that. So check out any of my videos that have been sponsored by Brilliant and use the link in order to get a discount. Otherwise, there are probably courses in universities that you can take. You can probably do the same at high school level if you need to kind of bring your marks up or whatever, but I'm not a huge expert when it comes to that. So Valeria Arcelli, thank you very much. Roger Marine, I am in the US. I am 58 and recently completed my BS degree. I started my PPL. I want to be an airline pilot. I am screwed now because of the pandemic? ? So you're 58 and you want to start. That is going to be rough, because they are like, if you're in the US and you're 58 and you want to start right now, I think it's going to be hard. I'm not going to say it's impossible, because I never ever say that anything is impossible. But as a guidance, they're giving American airline pilots that are over 62 early retirement right now. American Airlines is going out and asking people to take early retirement from 62. You're starting your training now. You're not done properly before you're 60. That means that you have 2 years to find a job and get up, and you need to also get your 1,500 hours since you're in the US. So I'm going to say that that's starting to be shaky. But once again, I have seen stranger things. So I would probably go and talk to a flight school and also talk to someone at a regional airline and say what they actually think. But, never lose hope until you have actually checked thoroughly what the circumstances are. This is why I did that video about crisis management. You need to identify the problem. The problem might be your age together with timing. What information can you gather? Talk to flight schools, talk to airlines, talk to other pilots that are in the same kind of business that you are, because I'm in Europe, for example, so you shouldn't be listening too much to me. You should be talking more to other people. And then, what are your options? Check what options are available. Is there a fast school that you're going through? Maybe you can go in through one of these aviation universities, which brings the time needed to go into the airlines down. And then you select something and you execute and you evaluate. PIOC. So, yeah, that's the best I can say. Kennedy Steve as a guest, ATC control from JFK. I'm gonna see if I can get a hold of him. I don't know. I don't have any contact kind of info with him at all. But if you do, then fire away. I need your help, guys. Is Michelle on the Mentor app, and do you use her app? Oh, I forgot to ask her about her app. Oh, I can't believe I forgot. We mentioned it, and I was going to start talking about it. I haven't used her app, and there's a good reason for that. The reason is that most of the things on her app, she has a great app when it comes to, anything from flight planning to weather, things like that. She's made kind of like a toolbox, which is great for general aviation and stuff. I have all of those apps included in my company issued flight bag, electronic flight bag. All right, so we're not allowed to use external apps when we work, and I don't fly general aviation, so that's why. I'm not sure if she's in the app. I'm going to ask her after this, and I'm definitely going to force her to get into the app. But right as of now, I don't know. So, Antimoni, great show tonight. Maybe interview airport plane parking dispatch manager, how they handle plane traffic on tarmac and what gate you go to. Okay, I know just a guy to talk to about that. Actually, I'm going to contact him after this. So, Are flights faster nowadays with lower air traffic? Yeah, they are faster because they get a lot more direct routings. So you can expect to get direct routings to, instead of flying these kind of zigzag routes that we do over Europe now, since there's no more flights, you just normally get straight lines, which makes them maybe 10 minutes faster than they would be otherwise. Can you bring an HR in live stream? I'm really passionate on it. And aviation is a fantastic source of good HR practices. I'll see if I can get someone from HR. Normally HR though is a little bit tricky to do on a live stream because they have company procedures. They're not allowed to talk too much about exactly what they do and how they judge people coming in. But once again, I'll see what I can do. Favorite World War II plane? Also loved the stream today from Morbidity Obese. The Spitfire is beautiful. I love the what's it called? The Mustang. The Mustang is beautiful. That's probably my favorite, to be perfectly honest. The P51, I mean Mustang. I'm starting to think it's the only one, but those are the two ones that come straight into my head. You have the Lancaster Bomber. You have oh yeah, there's loads of them, but the Mustang, I used to, on the airfield that I did my training, there was a Mustang based called Gul Kalle, basically Carl Yellow, because he had a yellow spinner, and he used to be out flying, practicing that thing, and that engine, when that engine came roaring, it was crazy. It's so beautiful. It's the pinnacle of that technology. You can't make a propeller aircraft more efficient or more brutal than that aircraft. That's as much as you can do. So it's beautiful to see it. Jake Schroeder, tell me Joe Schultz was the captain of the Southwest 77 that had an uncontained engine failure and the wind blew out. Yeah, I've actually done a video on that, so I've said, I think, everything that I need to say about that. They obviously did a great job. She showed what kind of, the fact that she had military experience and the kind of cool that she had on the pressure was very, very clear in that incident. I just didn't remember her name. But she did she and her crew, I should say, did a fantastic job on that flight. Natalie Olson, CV Lemoyne is the pilot who is an airline pilot along with military. He has a YouTube channel. Maybe he will join in the live stream. Maybe. I'll have a look, see. There's loads of people. I want them to be able to give something to you. So like now with Michelle, it was great because it's such an obvious, since we have two very similar YouTube channels, we've kind of been doing cross-referencing same type of material, both of us. We have, she's been working together with Captain Joe, and a lot of you guys want me to speak to Captain Joe. And for your record, I have sent him a request via Skype, but I don't know if he's actually getting my messages. There, I think that it would be a really cool collaboration over, and these kind of, it's very, very laid back and relaxed, these kind of interviews, so these live streams it's a perfect way of having a collaboration with another YouTuber without it being pretentious, basically. So Scott Laurie, hi Scott, great to see you again. Hi Petra, when you were training, do you get to see other parts of behind the scene at the airport you are based at? Sometimes we arrange for cadets to come up into the tower, for example, talk to our traffic controller, so that can be part of the training. And then baggage handling and stuff, not really, even though I think that would be a great idea to do. I have been working as a baggage handler myself, so I got to see a lot of that in the back end anyway. But no, it's generally not something that is included in your airline training. The airline training is very specific towards the job that you're going to do. And I think that was it, guys. Now, I have been jumping up and down a little bit in the super chat here, so I might have... here we go, actually. Søren, should passengers wear masks to protect the pilots? I think that when we start kicking this again, people will probably need to wear masks in the beginning, not only to protect the crew and the pilots, but also to protect themselves. There is possibilities that we might see that they're starting with social distancing on planes, so that you can, that you need to have the middle seat free, for example. In that case, the airlines is going to have a tough job. But no one really knows what will happen from this. Guys, I want to train something. I want to practice something here because I'm still learning this program. So here, I'm going to take one of the normal chats questions, and I'm going to try to get that up on screen and see if that works. So, Maria Martens here, for example. Do you work close? Can you see that, guys? That's very cool. I love this thing. So Maria Martins is asking, do you work close to Arlanda or Kastrup? No. At the moment I work in Girona, which is very far both from Arlanda and Kastrup. I have worked close to Arlanda. I was based in Skavsta for a while, which is just south of Stockholm. And I have diverted to Arlanda a few times, but no, I have not worked from any of those places. So let's see. Cool. This is a good one. So, J.R. Farrow, Bose A20 or Profile Series 2. So, when I started wearing them, I enjoyed the A20 better. All right? That because just off the top of my head, when I put it on, it is what you're used to. It's a headset that it's extremely good when it comes to noise cancelling. It's very, very nice to have. It weighs very little for a headset that size, and it's really, really high quality. But then after I had used the Profile Series 2 for a while, for about a week, you need to give it a week or two. Then, because it takes a little while to get used to getting the things into your ears and stuff, but then I went back for a day just to try the A20, and I couldn't believe how heavy it felt. Because once you used the ProFlight 2 in an airline environment, they weigh nothing. Like, it feels like when you're used to them, it feels like you have nothing on your head. And then if you put on an A20 even, it feels like a ton of bricks, really. So I have to say that I have both of them, and I use the ProFlight 2. So I hope that answers your question. Cool. Jens Kruse säger my home base is Arlanda. That's really cool. A20 all day from TY. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Everyone has their own personal preferences. You like my little phone? That's my wife. I love that as well. Has any one of you ever used a phone like that? I used to have that phone. Like that was when I grew up, we actually had a phone like that, which you had to take out and you had to. Have you seen how it worked? Like, that's the coolest thing ever. I don't think that it's plugged actually, so we can have a look. Now, so this here is how phones used to look. All right, this is way before we talk iPhones now. So if you had a telephone number, right, and then you had to basically turn the thing. And you dial the number like that. It is the most awesome thing. And we have it actually, so we can plug it in. We just haven't plugged it in. It's really, really cool. And now, of course, I'm going to connect it straight so that it goes straight to the hotline, to the tower, if I need to speak to them quickly about something. Guys, I think that's it. I think that's an hour and 37 minutes. It's a long live stream. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Okay. Let's see. There's some super chat questions here. Trolls Nielsen saying, I watch Mike Mate's channel a lot and I think he's awesome. A live with him would be nice. Can you please, if you have the Mentour Aviation app, which I hope that you all do by now, if you could use the submit feedback, if you have someone that you really want me to include, use the submit feedback function in the Mentour Aviation app, all right? Because that will send me an email and I will be able then to kind of sort through it, because I will never remember all of these names here on the from the live stream, and it just disappears. Once it's gone, it's gone. So use the app, send me an email there, and I will try to see, I'm gonna have to scout to see if the channels are suitable, obviously, because maybe you like it, but maybe the other people don't like it or whatever, and then we'll see what I can come up with. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed it, but I have these kind of, if you like these EDOP stickers, or this t-shirts and stuff, you can go to my Teespring store and have a look at them. They're for sale there. I want to have as many people turning up with these things on my meetups as possible, because it's just cool. It's just a cool thing. And after this, we can go over to the chat in the Mentour Aviation app and hang out. And if you guys are interested in kind of instruction, maybe you want to learn how to set up a 737 from scratch, or you want to see how to do an engine failure after takeoff, or a TCAS maneuver, or Cat 3 ILS, things like that, in the app. Now the app is completely free, Okay, you don't need to pay to get the app. You just register in there, and you're in the chat, you're in the technical forums, you can get the news and everything. But if you want to, you can also buy, and what I recommend is the complete collection, because if you buy the complete collection, you get 2 hours of instruction in 360. Now the reason that I did it in 360 was because I want you guys to be able to look at everything at once. So maybe you want to see how a setup is done from the captain's side and then from the first officer side. And also, if you have one of these headsets, then you can put them on and you put the phone in, and it will be just like if you're sitting on the jump seat together with me as I'm doing these maneuvers. Now, the focus is not great. It's not made to be able to go in and look on the technical details. It's made to be able for you to get an overview over how the CRM works in the cockpit. So go in, and if it's something for you, check it out. It's for 2 hours. It's $20, I think, to buy the whole thing, and it's yours forever. So on that bombshell, guys, I want to say thank you for all of you who've been here. There was almost 2,000 people at the peak and still 1,300 people looking at this. I'm so happy that you like this. My next live stream will be on Sunday. Make sure that I see you all here then, and then we'll see who we can get a hold on to appear as a guest. But for now, I hope you will enjoy my video that I'll release on Friday, and have an absolutely fantastic day. Like I said, like this. Absolutely fantastic day. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.